Hi guys, it's me, Miss Roby. So today is Wednesday, May 6th, and I'm here recording your text features and informational text lesson. So for our reading lesson today, we're going to be covering a couple different objectives. Our first one is I can use text features to find information in a text and answer questions. So meaning we're going to be looking at informational text, which we have been this whole unit. And we're going to look at those text features that help us get information. Now, we have been doing this in the past, so hopefully this can kind of be a refresher in our mind of what those text features are. We're also going to use text evidence to answer questions, which you should always use text evidence. And the last one is I can write sentences to demonstrate understanding of using text features to locate information. So we're going to be able to use those text features and write about how they help us understand information. So what are text features? Maybe you had a lot of ice cream and you don't remember, or it's been a long time since we were in class and maybe it's a little foggy for you. So text features are parts of informational text that authors use to help us get information. So they use a bunch of different methods to help us understand informational text. And so when we read nonfiction or informational text, we use them to help us gather a deeper understanding. So what I want for you to do is you're actually going to click this link in your Google slideshow. So make sure you're actually at the Google slideshow. If you click this video, it's not going to do anything. So make sure you have your Google slideshow up, and on this slide, you're going to click this link, and this link will take you directly to Brain Pop Junior. So you're going to watch this link about nonfiction and reading nonfiction, and you're going to use this username and password down below so you can watch that. So right now I want you to hit pause, open up your Google slide, and click this link. All right, hit pause. All right, so remember the purpose of our lesson is that we're learning about those informational text features and those text features that help us understand information a little deeper. So this is our main purpose. And so let's take a look. I'm going to underline some of those key reasons why we're doing this. It says when we read informational text, we can use text features such as captions, subheadings, charts, and photographs to quickly find information that helps us understand the text. The keyword here is quickly. So authors of nonfiction, they're using those text features to help us get information right away and help us understand it. So today, we're actually going to look at two articles. We're going to look at From Phone Calls to Video Chat, which was one of the first ones we did for this unit. And we're going to look at Thomas Edison, A Curious Mind. So we're going to really discover two of these articles and look at those text features that we've witnessed before. So, Ms. Roby, I put watch this because I'm going to model for you how I use nonfiction text features. Okay, so I'm going to actually look at this question that was asked about this article From Phone Calls to Video Chat. It says, when did telephones start becoming popular? When did cell phones come into use? So I'm looking at when did telephones start becoming popular and when did cell phones come into use? So remember, our learning target is how are we using those text features? So here I have my article and I have it pulled up. So I'm looking to see when did telephones start to become popular? So I'm looking quickly here at some of the text features that I can see. So on page 7, okay, I'm looking at an idea takes hold. And I know when we're talking about an idea takes hold, really that's an idiom that means it becomes popular, where people start widespread all over the world, something is starting to become popular and well known. So I'm looking at that heading here, an idea takes hold, and I'm thinking, I wonder if this is when ideas and phones started to become popular. Okay, so I'm going to look at this section. It's giving me a clue that maybe it should be here. So as I read it, I'm quickly seeing a couple dates that are jumping out to us, right? I see a couple things that are really starting to give a little shout out, right? So I'm looking here and I see by 1900, Bell's company had almost 600,000 phones in use. So because I'm using that text feature of a subheading, okay, and the reason why they call that a subheading is that at the top of the page, it's helping us know that idea takes hold, it becomes popular. All this whole section is going to be about when it becomes popular. And because of that, I was able to really quickly see that 1900. So I'm able to really answer that question of by 1900, phones started to become super popular. Now, if you remember, okay, the second part of that question was, when did cell phones come into use? So I'm looking here and I don't really see a lot of cell phones on this page, do you? I know I don't. So I'm looking at the bottom of here of page 8, okay, I see right here, I see a timeline. Now this is another nonfiction text feature, okay, and it's saying here, I can see at the bottom right away, this text feature, I can see that here it says the first cell phone. Okay, and I'm able to see that date of 1973. So this timeline is able to really help me understand very quickly on that time frame, when did cell phone start to become popular? So by using those text features, okay, Miss Ruby was able to really answer those questions pretty quickly. And so here was my thinking. And so it says to answer the first question, I looked at the text features that might help me figure out when telephones started to become popular. On page 7, I saw the heading, an idea takes hold, and I know that takes hold is an idiom meaning becomes popular or widespread. So I know that this section will tell me about the rise of the telephone. And I quickly see that in 1900, Bell's company had almost 600,000 phones in use. Remember, Miss Ruby walked through that, so I was able to write down my thought. Now it says to answer the second question, I'll continue reading the section. I see that in 1973, the first cell phone was made. When I looked at the timeline on page 8, I saw 1973 noted that cell phones came into use. So by using those text features, I was able to find that information I needed quickly and efficiently, meaning that I didn't have to take too much time looking for it. So text features are great tools because you can do these things very quick. And authors do that for a reason. All right, so let's take a look at our guided practice section. So this section is going to be a time when you're going to practice using a text feature. And I want you to type out your answer in the slide. But then I'm going to come back and I'm going to walk you through my answer. Okay, so I want you to make sure you're doing this the honest way. Don't just speed through the video and copy down Miss Roby's answer. Okay, I want for you to actually try this out. Okay? All right, so here's our text question. It says, using the text features in Thomas Edison, A Curious Mind, can you tell me what were Thomas Edison's most important inventions? What were they used for? So this is a two-part question. So I'm looking to see what was Thomas Edison's most important inventions, and I have to use that text feature. But I also need to look for what were they used for. So not only do I have to say the most important, I want to know what are they used for. So I put the article here. Of course, if you need to, you can use Benchmark Universe, or if you went and got your text for close reading books from school this week, you could use those as well. Okay, but I want you to use some of these text features. Now remember, I don't want you to go through and reread this whole article. That's not the point of this lesson. The point of this lesson is using those text features that this article has. So go ahead, I want for you to hit pause, and in your Google slide, right, not on this video because this is not an edible video, okay, in the Google slide, I want you to put your answer for this question here, okay? So go ahead and solve this question. When you're done, come back and hit play, all right? So go ahead and hit pause and answer this question in your Google slideshow. All right, so we are talking about this text feature question. Now remember, we're talking about Thomas Edison's most important inventions, using that text feature and finding out what were those inventions used for. That is our main goal for this question. So hopefully now you have answered that. And if you haven't, okay, please don't go on, right? But I'm gonna be here to kind of check that work for you. Okay, so I'm looking for text features that are going to help me understand Thomas Edison's greatest inventions. So I see a quote here as a heading. That's not really giving me a lot of information. I see a heading here of young inventor. So I don't think this section here is going to give me too much information. I do see a photograph, right? That's a nonfiction text feature. And it's saying here this caption. Now remember, a caption's telling you what this picture is about. So I can read this caption and it says, Edison used a telegraph machine like the one below. Oh, so this is a telegraph machine. He translated the coded messages that came into his office. All right, so that's not really telling me a whole lot. I'm gonna keep reading here. I see the laboratory as a heading. So this section's probably all about the lab. I see a photograph and it says Edison's universal stock printer as a caption. So lets me know this is actually a picture of a universal stock printer. So that could be an invention that definitely was super important. I see a photograph of him. I see a drawing here, but I don't really see inventions here. I see another photograph right here. It says Edison saw how the phonograph could help people communicate. Oh, I bet this section here, this phonograph, right? This is a picture of a phonograph according to this caption. Okay, it's helping people communicate. I bet this would be a very important invention. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to include that. So one example is that books could be read onto the cylinders. Then they could be played back to blind people. So that helped people. Wow. So I think a phonograph is definitely an example of an important invention. And I'm going to definitely circle that, and I'm going to put that down as important. Okay, and so Miss Roby's writing that there. And once again, very sorry at my sloppy computer writing. It's not the best, I know. Okay, so I know that phonograph's probably one of the most important inventions. Okay, now I'm taking a look here on page 16, and wow, I see a text feature that is super awesome for this question. Okay, take a look. Edison's most popular inventions. Whoa. Okay, that is so cool. This is answering my question for me. So it's saying the invention here and what it is used for. Wow, this chart is a great example of why charts are important in nonfiction text features. Okay, this can give me the information that I know. Now, if Miss Ruby was to write out every single one of these inventions, it would take me forever. And I don't want that in my close reading question. But I know if I'm using that RAP strategy, right, RAP, when I'm answering a close reading question, the P for provide evidence really means 2 to 3 reasons, right? Or 3 proofs. Okay, so I'm going to pick my top 3 inventions that I think Thomas Edison were the most important. So I'm seeing there's a stock printer, and this chart lets me know it's used for improving telegraph transmission of stock market information. This seems really important, but I don't know a whole lot on it, so I'm not going to pick it. Incandescent light bulb, making artificial light. Do you think that's super important? Yes. So I'm going to circle that. That's an answer that I'm going to include. A phonograph, which is recording and playing back sound. And I know that's important because on this previous slide, remember, Mr. Roby even pointed out this picture of the phonograph that helped people communicate. So I'm definitely going to include that as an invention that's important. I see a mimeograph, which makes copies of documents. I'm going to see if there's anything else that kind of jumps out at me. Storage battery for recharging batteries. A kinetoscope, which is viewing moving pictures. It's an early motion picture device. So this is what they used before like movie cameras were invented. Electric pen, making copies of documents. Oh, so this is basically before the copy machine. Movie camera, recording films. Oh, Miss Ruby loves this. Okay, so I'm actually going to circle that. A fruit preserver that kept fruit fresh. Electric train track turntable, which changed the direction trains traveled. These are all really important things, but these are the three that I think were the most important. The light bulb, the phonograph, and the movie camera. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that wrap strategy to answer that text for close reading question. So here is Miss Roby's writing response. So don't forget, when we're writing our response, okay, we're really looking for that wrap, right? We're looking for the restating your question, answer the question, and provide evidence. Okay, so let's see if Miss Roby was able to do that. Some of Thomas Edison's most important inventions were. Wow. Did I restate the question? Yeah, the question was, what were Thomas Edison's most important inventions? Well, I restated it here. Some of Thomas Edison's most important inventions were. Perfect. Now I need to answer it. Okay. So they were the light bulb, the photograph, and the movie camera. Did I answer the question? Yes. Okay, so now I need to provide evidence because not only was I supposed to answer what were the most important inventions, but I needed to say what they were used for. So technically I didn't fully answer. So I'm going to do that now. Based on the graph on page 16, did I prove that I got this from somewhere? Yes. Always prove your points. The light bulb produced artificial light. The phonograph recorded and played sound, and the movie camera recorded motion pictures. Now, technically, wrap, that's all you need. But I like to include one last thing, which is restating your answer. Okay, so these are some of Thomas Edison's most important inventions. Boom. Okay, so this is kind of the writing that I think would be the best example of answering that question and providing text evidence. All right, guys. So now that we've done it, you've watched Miss Roby find and use text features, you have practiced finding and using text features with Miss Roby, I think now it's time for you to try this on your own. Okay? And so for this practice, okay, you're going to actually go back to this Google assignment on your Google Classroom, and you're going to find a non-fiction text feature article about Bengal tigers. Okay, so it's going to be a Google Doc in Google Classroom. And on that doc, you're going to see the passage and also the questions. So that Google Doc you can type on. So I want you to read the passage and you're going to answer the questions in the Google Doc. Now, if you don't want to use the Google Doc, maybe you want to handwrite your questions, feel free to print off that article and write it. Just make sure to upload it, okay, guys? So that's what you're going to do. You're going to go to Google Classroom, open up that article on the Google Doc, and answer those questions. Now, if you need help, know that I'm always here and you can always go back and watch this video as well. All right, guys. Well, I hope you're having a great Wednesday, and I look forward to hopefully hearing and seeing you all soon. All right, guys. Have a great day.